Behind those friendly graphics and cute emojis are dark, tragic, and heartbreaking stories that only select few remembers. I am but a traveling minstrel that survived the test of time, and my mission? To celebrate the heroics and feats of the unsung heroes, to curse the lies and deception of the beings pulling the strings, to delve to the history and lore of Rune Midgard. Within the religious city of Rachel, the populace was graced by the holy image of Freya, with a skin as white as snow, a hair as soft as silk, and an eyes showing the deep ocean and the blazing sun. The Pope of Arunafeltz indeed seems to be the goddess herself. But under those happy and joyous citizens, a stark contrast is being felt by the higher-ups. An incident has occurred within the holy grounds of Sesrumnir. A dark miasma has spread. Creatures never seen before has been summoned, and people working inside has either been sick or killed. The experiment and the imitation of the heart of Ymir caused a catastrophe, shifting the distribution of power within the High Priest of Sesrumnir. The moderate faction, whom led the project, has lost most of their support, while the Hardliner Faction has risen in return. An army has been sorted, training deep inside Thor's volcano. The Hardliners are determined to wage war, and the moderate faction can no longer stop them. Even the Pope, the head of the state, has no ability to stop the upcoming war. She is young, inexperienced, and versed, curious, yet still ignorant to the outside world. Zhed, a high priest aligned with the moderate faction, wanted to give the Pope the knowledge she deserved, but the high priests themselves, to preserve their sanctity, are not allowed to leave the country. As such, they have secretly requested an adventurer to talk to the Pope and tell her the tales of his journey. But the meeting with the Pope and the adventurer has been cut short, as the Hardliner faction has learned about the setup and promptly interrupting them. The high priest Nerin, a former friend of Zhed, argues that outside influence is not good for the Pope, and warned Zhed to stop this interference. With the current status of the moderate faction, Zhed had to reluctantly agree to stop and thank the adventurer for the help provided. But a turn of fate have it that on the way outside, the said adventurer has found a key dropped by Nerin, which led him towards the holy grounds of Rachel. In this forbidden sanctuary exclusive to the high priest, the adventurer had ventured inside in secret. A strong miasma is in the air, while blood is scattered across the room. It seems like unknown monsters are also patrolling the area, but whether if it was the temple's guardian or an intruder is yet to be determined. He surveyed the area and goes deeper in search for answers, but before he can go any further, Nerin has found the adventurer.
Heresy!
The high priest declared, and knocked the adventurer out cold. Zhed, being the guarantor, has been suspended from the temple, but assured that he was okay. In return, he requested to keep silent from the holy ground secret. The adventurer has agreed to the request, then left Rachel to continue his journey. Time has passed, and the adventurer has stumbled upon a quest to find a child rumored to be kidnapped and brought in Thor's volcano. Inside this hostile and seemingly unlivable place has mysterious buildings that are heavily guarded. After saving the child from these men that holds the Arunafeltz official seal, he seeks his old acquaintance Zhed for answers. The revelation of the adventurer has caught Zhed in surprise. He knew that a geology camp was placed inside to monitor the volcanic activity, but the presence of heavily armed troops made Zhed realize that the Hardliner faction has started to make their move. The peace between the two countries are at risk. the High Priest and the Adventurer has agreed to help each other to prevent war from breaking. They infiltrate the camp within Thor's volcano and publish fake findings that the volcano is about to erupt. The fake news has proven to be effective and sent the soldiers scrambling to back away from the supposedly imminent danger. But such move will only serve to delay the plans of the Hardliner factions, and the preparation for war still continues. They need to strike the heart of the problem. They need to beat the Hardliner faction in their game. But how? The Pope. The Pope is the only answer to their dilemma. They need her support to overrule the Hardliner faction, but Zhed is currently not in a position to convince the Pope. They need someone that currently has a power to convince her to help their cause. The High Priest Neren comes to mind. She was a friend of Zhed and considered to be a mother figure of the Pope. She is the perfect person to help their cause, but the incident at the Holy Grounds caused Neren to be in conflict with the moderate faction. As such, Neren initially disagreed to help Zhed and proclaims to support the upcoming war. Still, Zhed did not give up, and after much deliberation, convinced Neren to give him another chance. They forged the handwriting of the High Priest Wilt to order the priest guarding the Pope to go on a vacation. With them gone, they finally managed to talk to the Pope in private. The two of them tell the Pope everything that has been going on within Arunafeltz, the crisis in the Holy Grounds, the war preparation in Thor's volcano, and the conflict between the Hardliner and the moderate faction. To their surprise, the Pope responds that she is all well aware of what is happening, as the priest of the temple indiscriminately talk around her as if she was a child. With no one who treats her seriously, she felt powerless, hopeless. But with Zhed and Neren finally talking about her regarding the current issue, the Pope finally had the courage to stand up against it. She commanded Zhed to write a report about all the atrocities done by the moderate faction, and told Neren to compile the proof of the Hardliner faction gearing for war. "It's time to correct the wrongdoings of the servants of Freya," she said. The Pope went out and graced the citizen of the state, with a skin as white as snow, a hair as soft as silk, and the eyes showing the deep ocean and the blazing sun. The Pope of Arunafeltz stands before them as the direct representative of Freya herself. She divulges all the issues within the temple, but assures the populace that it will all be corrected and that peace shall prevail. After her speech, the Pope has retreated to her room to rest from her exhaustion of everything. As for Neren and Zhed, both promised to work hard to redeem themselves to the eyes of the Pope. Freya will be brought back to the world, but in a path where bloodshed will be avoided.